this day and age there has been a new wave of genders emerging, spearheaded by the woke-ist movement. With that came its fair share of backlash and doubts, with extremist views emerging on both the conservative and the woke-ist front. It is one of many things that is dividing the Western world more now than ever before. Polarization is a threat to any society, and I am therefore here to propose an alternative view on the non-binary issue, so that we can hopefully, one person at a time, fix this social crisis that is division. A little disclaimer, I am neither taking a traditional conservative nor a traditional wokeist stance in this video. If you feel strongly about the subject, I will probably piss you off, but I would encourage you to watch it through entirely, or else you might get a biased view about me or my views in general. I do not intend to offend, discriminate, or induce any negative emotions in this video. I'll be looking at some progressive concerns and some conservative concerns and try to find a middle ground. As I myself am Dutch and we are famous for compromising, who better than me to try to find this middle ground? I would propose a scientific view on the non-binary issue, as I think it's most appropriate. Empirical evidence has been crucial ever since the Enlightenment for policies and educational structures to be based upon. I propose that we do the same for the non-binary issue. For as far as I have seen, up until now, the burden of proof, or rather disproof, has been put upon the conservative side. The proof that the wokeist movement brings forth is, I feel, therefore I am.
A little coffee break. Cheers.
I believe that it is an error to put the burden of proof upon the conservatives, since it's impossible to disprove the existence of something. For example, prove to me that there are no purple elephants. You can't, just like you can't prove there are no non-binary people. I suggest we shift the burden of proof towards the wokeist movement, and I would encourage them to find any empirical evidence or neurological evidence or any evidence in general of the existence of non-binary people. To be clear, I fully believe that people who say they are non-binary feel this way. Just like I believe that people who say they feel they are a man, feel that they are a man. Proving you believe something is impossible, and that is not what I mean when I say proving that the non-binary spectrum exists. I also believe that it is an error to say that since there is no evidence, it must not exist. Absence of evidence does not equal evidence of absence. I'll put forth some examples to substantiate this idea. For example, being gay used to be thought of as a social construct, and it really wasn't a thing, until we found some neurological evidence that it really was. Just as with transgenderism, which is really a thing, and if you doubt me, I'll be happy to put some literature in the comments or so you can read it yourself. I've looked for quite a long time, and I have yet to find any empirical evidence how non-binary people came to be this way. Nature versus nurture, or just any empirical evidence at all. To say, I feel, therefore I am, does not necessarily have to be based on reality. It could be, like I said earlier, or it could also just not be. People with delusions also feel what they believe and feel is true. This is not a comparison, just an illustration. To illustrate the opposite could also be true. Let's say, for example, you're sad. You feel sad and you are sad. So, what you feel does reflect reality. It should be obvious that assuming I've been diligent enough in doing my research and not been misinterpreting any of the research I've read so far, that there is too little or just no empirical evidence at all to be basing policies upon. I see more and more videos of school children being educated on gender and the non-binary gender spectrum, when there is just simply too little evidence for this. Since there is little to no empirical evidence, and based on how politicized this issue has become, this is bordering indoctrination. Basing any policy off of unproven ideas has been historically proven to be a gamble at best and dangerous at worst. It should also be obvious that discriminating towards people who identify as non-binary is inhumane in any way. Let us not repeat the mistakes of the past in that we discriminate towards people with a different sexuality or identity. We do not know if the non-binary gender spectrum is based off of reality, but that is irrelevant. It is not okay to discriminate against anyone for their beliefs. I think that is more than enough food for thought for now. I hope that you got something from this. To understand one another is to start depolarization. Thank you all for hearing me out, and have a good day.